Alrighty, we're here with Chuck Weber on the Iowa Heartlanders pregame show. Heartlanders in Toledo Walleye, 4 of the next 5 games for the Heartlanders against the Fish. Chuck, Heartlanders coming in after a pretty exciting one on Wednesday. Maybe not the last 5 minutes how you drew it up, but the overtime winner certainly makes it feel better at the end of the day. Start with your general takeaways from Wednesday.
It was a fantastic crowd. Hats off to the front office, having 3,000 school kids in there yelling and screaming and going nuts for Riley Mercer there, getting the 6-7 going. And it was a great environment, and the guys really fed off that. I thought we got off to a decent start. I thought we were able to capitalize on our opportunities. They had some different pushes at different times, which teams do, but I thought we withstood them pretty well. There's a 4-minute segment in the first period I didn't love, and then we had a bad, probably about 45 seconds in the third period, actually, that kind of went a little sideways. We called timeout, we regrouped, and, we got the 2 points. And, at any time when you can grab 2 points, it's very valuable.
I know Elliot Denoye, he had 5 points and was called up, but Matt Sopp's still here after a 2-goal, 3-point performance. How did you think he played overall, besides scoring, like the full roundedness of his game on Wednesday?
Best game I've seen him play since I've been part of the Heartlanders organization. That was the guy that I was told about. I think he'd be the first one to admit that his play hasn't been up to par for the most part this year. Hats off to Elliot for getting the call up to play. But at the same time, talking with Matt Hendricks in Minnesota, they want to see Sopper be able to do that consistently. As a young player, it doesn't do him any good to get called up and sit in the stands in the American League. It's better off getting high-end minutes here and then showing he can hit repeat on that. And that's going to be big for his development, is finding that consistency.
It goes without saying, and we've touched on it already on the pregame show, that the roster already looks very different than it did on Wednesday, and it even looks even more different than the Wednesday before. It's the ever-changing hockey league for a reason. So Matt Cothey and Keenan Stewart come in 11 and 7, the order of the day in the lineup. So how does a moment like this against a really good Toledo team, how could it serve as a galvanizing factor to get the boys hopefully jump-started, even with a bunch of normal guys that are up in the AHL or out?
Well, yeah, it's actually we're 11 and 6.
Oh, yeah, beg your pardon.
Mike Kester getting recalled at 11:35 p.m. last night. It's just been crazy the amount of injuries the Minnesota Wild have been having at the NHL. Every time I watch a game, I'm just kind of cringing kind of thing. So, he got a flight out today, so we'll be at 11 and 6. Fortunately, we were able to get Keenan and Matt in. Matt's a former teammate of Johnny Sorensen, was in Tulsa. Everyone here knows Keenan from his time here last year. 2 totally different players, but it's a great opportunity for them. They're going to come in, they're going to play. It's a great opportunity for some other guys that maybe don't get a lot of high-end minutes to get those minutes and show that they can handle them. So every game, it's an opportunity, and that's what it is for this team. We're playing one of the better teams, if not one of the top teams in this league. A lot of high-end talent. We need to make sure we're dialed in and playing at our very best at a high level of enthusiasm and structure to give us the best chance to win.
Even more so than normal games where we talk about, you want to limit opponents' power play chances. Toledo has, for the last 5 years, pretty much led the league every single year, and they're up above 30%. They're 6 for their last 8. I think I had it, or 5 for their last 8 on the power play coming in. So discipline-wise, what makes you feel good about the way the Heartlanders have been playing with their discipline that hopefully continues that tonight?
Yeah, we got to defend with our feet. We can't get sticks parallel against these guys. They're great at drawing penalties. With that being said, they can snap it around. They got a lot of high-end skill. They got a number of guys that could very easily be playing in the American League, but are in a pretty good spot there. And, we got to make sure we eliminate those opportunities. If we can stay to 1 or 2 penalty kills, it'll be good for us. But if we get in a situation where we're having 4, 5, 6 kills, that's a recipe for disaster. And so we've got to make sure the penalty kills dialed in. But even more importantly, I believe our power play has to get going. That's been kind of a little bit of an Achilles heel for us, over the last 5 to 10 games. We got to make sure that we're gaining momentum there and not losing it.
Chuck, thanks again for a few minutes. Appreciate it.
Thanks, David.
Again, that's Chuck Weber. The Heartlanders and the Toledo Walleye will start this thing in just a few minutes here on the Iowa Heartlanders Broadcast Network.